Crunchyroll, the worst way to watch anime? Let's let's watch it.
It blows my mind that Crunchyroll has to completely remove every social element on their platform for people to realize
No
that it's
more
missing some
comments.
features, when free alternatives have had 10 times the features and customization for years. Of course, that'll never change, because most people will still happily pay increasing prices for the most inferior, most controlled viewing experiences available, simply because they're official,
I
streamlined, and convenient. This blows my mind
I'm
most of
not
all, well, not least of
I'm
all,
I'm
because
not
the
paying for
unofficial
Crunchyroll.
platforms are just as convenient after a minuscule learning curve. But most of all, because the most important thing to me is the actual viewing experience of watching any given anime. Something which no one ever seems to be
What was
interested in
that one?
talking about with any watching any given anime. Something which no one ever seems
That
to
one
be
looked
interested
crazy.
in talking about with any serious expectations. As if the only question that matters is, why aren't you licensing literally every anime I want to watch? And I'm gonna say it, it's an incredibly stupid question. Not just because it's impossible, not just because having a company like High Dive slash
High dive.
Sentai, who licenses more of the niche and risque stuff as competition, is literally a good thing, but because if they don't have it, you can just watch it somewhere else.
Amazing.
It's not that
That's
difficult, and there's no pointless
what I
guilt
do.
required. There are a multitude of other ways to support the shows if you so desire. The question I see no one asking is the actual viewing experience actually worth the premium? My experience watching any given anime on the allegedly premium, paid platform should be the superior experience, with the most options, the most features, and the most control over my viewing experience. And you know what that means? It means that if you provide 0 features, 0 options, and 0 customization, you have 0 value to offer me, and I have 0 reason to give you money. It
Makes
doesn't matter
sense.
how many licenses you can afford. If I can go to any number of alternative options and watch any given anime with a better, more fleshed out viewing experience, which I am in control of, which I can, easily and conveniently, contrary to
How
popular
people
belief.
think
If I can
pirating
do
is.
that, why would I watch literally anything on Crunchyroll? And I know, I hear you saying, to support the industry. Duh. Except that I've dumped more money into the industry this year than an entire lifetime of my Crunchyroll subs will. And I don't even buy that much of this stuff. I'd buy more if I had more room. But who cares, right? Who cares if you can't change the playback speed? So what if you can't mix subs with dubs? And why should it matter if some of the anime on High Dive and all of the anime on YouTube have these features by default? Why should it matter that there are no excuses for not having these features? Who cares that you can't choose a custom resolution while casting, or that the audio gets compressed into the pits of hell when the auto resolution falls below threshold? So what if there's no sorting or filtering? Why should it matter that the quote-unquote search page is just a glorified recommendations page with the absolute most basic search feature? Who cares that the multi-user detection is
This is so
broken
much
and locks
stuff.
you out of streaming for minutes at a time because you hit refresh or open the new tab a little too fast? Why should anyone complain if they continue to drop
Man,
broken subtitles week
Crunchyroll
after week,
sucks.
which fan subs and torrent hosts end up fixing for free? Why should it matter that popular shows frequently crash or stall their servers while free alternatives continue chugging right along? Who cares that the UI is atrocious and that the app still doesn't even have something as basic as a previous episode button? So what if it takes them years at a time to fix blatantly obvious issues like screenshot blocking and the eternal pause screen overlay
Let's
while
just-
casting?
just
I mean,
point
at
and
least they
laugh.
finally fixed those two, but at this rate, it'll take them a millennium to ever catch up with the rest of these issues.
That's never gonna happen. Ever. 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 Ever.
And those issues are frankly just the tip of the iceberg on the viewing experience. I don't even want to get into their shady business practices. Let me ask you the question as I see it. Am I wrong for having literally any expectations whatsoever in this regard?
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
I understand that every official streaming platform fails on this front, but all that means to me is that streaming platforms, drumroll please, have failed us. But hey, it's no big deal. It's not like literally none of these are issues on free alternatives. It's not like they have every opportunity to just copy what those platforms do better than them. Who cares that their one saving grace, video quality, is better than a free stream but still worse than a torrent in many cases? So what if they fail to update licenses on classic shows that are censored, low quality, missing dubs, missing entire episodes, or in some cases, feature literal compression artifacts in the footage? Who cares that they sold us on the Crunchyroll Funimation merger with slogans like, "Working together to give you more"? only to quietly let hundreds of Funimation licenses die in the gutter. So what if they gutted the best website for buying manga and merch
This
because Sony simply
also
has to own
this is
everything?
messed
Why should
up.
anyone complain that they're taking on fewer
This
and
is
fewer US
terrible.
physical licenses, with even popular shows like Chainsaw Man from 2 years ago getting releases in the UK before the US ever receives them? Why should it matter that things like the Save Edition and Anime Classics releases are disappearing like a faint memory? Who cares that their physical releases are still twice the price of UK imports of the same quality? And who cares if they're buying out the UK companies too? So what if they're the sole reason you have fewer and fewer options with every passing year? Why should anyone care that they're owned by a company that loves nothing more than out-censoring freaking Nintendo on Japanese video game releases? And who cares that if they continue to grow at this rate, they're going to have more power with similar decisions in the anime industry? Who cares, right? Who cares? No one, apparently, since to no one's surprise they've been growing at an absolutely alarming rate. I don't know whether to blame people's
Crunchyroll has
stupidity,
been
laziness, or
growing.
both, but most have simply accepted all of this. And when the 2 weeks at best news cycle is over, it'll be, who cares that there's no comment section? Who cares that all the reviews are now meaningless numbers with no context? Who cares? I'll just keep paying, I'll just keep supporting these practices, I'll just keep consuming product, looking forward to next product, and sending the message that this is all a perfectly acceptable value proposition. This is positive progress for the industry and for the consumption of art. This video could probably be an hour long, and I would still not run out of ways to quote-unquote nitpick Crunchyroll. I have thought many times of making the Why Crunchyroll Sucks video, but it feels like anyone who has the capacity to get it surely must get it by now, right? You want a slogan for Crunchyroll? Here's a good one, albeit a bit long. Crunchyroll. Still and always the worst way to watch anime. Still and always the worst way to support the industry. And soon, if we have it our way, the only way to do either. Thank you for giving us your money.
That's crazy. I I don't have an account with Crunchyroll. I don't think I've ever watched anime on Crunchyroll. I've always watched on other sites, but this is a good video. It's a video made um with a certain uh, I want to say hate, with like calculated disdain. I'm a fan. I like it.